Ready? Ready? Are y'all ready? Cause it's real talk. It's real talk. Tabby, Tassie. Hey, it's real talk. Rare, authentic, real experiences.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here with another fabulous episode of It's Rare
Rare
Talk.
talk. Hey
Yes,
y'all.
indeed. So we are here with co-host,
Tabby.
and I'm Ty C. So I am excited. We are excited, cousin. I'm going to let you introduce our special guest on today.
Yes, y'all. So thank you all that are on. Listen, I don't usually do this because my mind don't be on it, but I'm going to tell y'all tonight. Y'all want to share this. You want to get your cousins, you want to get your brothers, sisters, get everybody on here tonight because we have such a special guest. We have been, I don't even want to use the word excited, but we have been looking forward to this episode. Like me and cousin were texting, like, this is going to be good. Like, we just knew that this episode was going to be so good. Like I said, we've been looking forward to it. We were talking earlier about this young man, even comments and people were sharing the post, that he was going to be sharing his story on tonight. I'm walking through the store with tears and I mean, just so elated, just so joyous about this young man who I had the pleasure of working alongside a couple of years ago. And so, y'all, I like to introduce to some and present to others, none other than Mr. Andre Childs. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are excited. Cousin, thank you so much for the connection with Mr. Childs, and Mr. Childs, once again, we just want to thank you for being here. Cousin is exactly right. When I think about the topic that we're actually going to be talking about tonight, like there's a lot of different pandemics that's going on in the world today, but addiction has been a national problem for a long time. Yeah. COVID came in and COVID made its name great and as far as like the headlines on television and media and all of that. But addiction has been, listen here, an issue for a long, long time. It has affected so many different families in so many different ways. And so just to know that Mr. Childs, you have celebrated 5 years in recovery melts my heart. And I have to be perfectly honest with you. This subject area right here is very dear to me. And it's very dear to me, not that I have actually experienced it personally, but coming from a job of 7.5 years of working with individuals who have been battling this for years. I always took my job very seriously. Right. And so to be able to talk about this matter tonight on It's Rare Talk, listen here, I am elated. I am excited. I am excited to hear your story. I love what God is doing in your life right now, right? And so, cousin, I know that, you have this thing where you talk about, we see a person's now, right? But every now has a then. And so Mr. Childs is here with us today to take us back to his then. And so I'm excited for his transparency. I'm excited for the support that he has had along the way. Andre, that's absolutely amazing. But once again, I'm excited that he made it out, cousin. And I'm glad that you two have an awesome connection. Yes. And once again, just excited to have him on the show. Yes. So welcome, Mr. Childs.
Thank you.
So we're going to ask that you would take us back to wherever, if you want to do the childhood or teens. Tell us how you were as a kid, if you were quiet, rambunctious, whatever. Give us a little background.
Yeah, as a child, I very athletic, played sports, basketball, football, ran track, and wasn't quiet. I definitely talked a lot. But like I was thinking about it, back from 8 to 14, I was like my life was very good, playing sports, getting good grades, going to school, just doing everything I was supposed to do. And I felt like when I got to, even through high school, you know, 9th, 10th grade, 11th grade, I was real little. So like I just kind of stayed to myself a lot.
Yeah.
Played sports, stayed to myself because my sister, you know, she graduated in 2004, went to Hampton University, was always making honor roll, dean's list. Like, so I felt like, man, I have to stay on top of myself because like, you know, she out here like doing her thing, and things didn't end up that way. And sometimes I sit back and I ask myself, you know, maybe I didn't feel like I was good enough. You know what I'm saying? And that's maybe what transpired to send me in the wrong direction. So, you know, my childhood as a young child, everything was fine. My teenage years is when things started to take a turn.
Okay. So how about senior year? Did you graduate or
I graduated high school, you know, played varsity football, running back, defensive back, played basketball, and I even went to a JUCO college in Oklahoma for 2 years. And I feel like that is when I realized that maybe I might have an addiction problem. I didn't know nothing about addiction, narcotics, Alcoholics Anonymous, but I was in school and I was out like partying. You know what teenagers do, young kids do. You go to college, you party, you get up, you go to class. Well, the difference was I was partying and everybody else was getting up and going to class and I wasn't.
Okay.
I'm saying, so after being out there for a year and a half, I came back home to Claymont, Delaware, and that was in 2011. And that's really when I had like dibble and dabble, you know, smoking, drinking, doing some pills here and there. But when I came back from college is when my addiction really took off.
Yeah. So it went to a whole nother level. Was it because you just had idle time? Do you feel like, so you didn't finish? You went to JUCO for a year and a half, but you didn't finish. You came back. So when you got back, did you feel like, man, what do I do now? Like, what do you think your mindset was at to cause, like you said, the dibbling and dabbling to go haywire, out of control?
You know, a lot of the people I graduated with and family members, everybody went to college, graduated, you know, got a degree, or if not got a degree, like had a career. And I felt like I came back to my hometown and I just was in the mindset as like, what's next?
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that I hung around were, you know, they would have a job, but they also was, you know, in the streets selling drugs and getting high. And, you know, they say, you are who you hang around. If you hang around 9 people that's doing drugs and selling drugs, and you the 10th person, it's probably what you're going to end up doing. And that's just where it started. I would work here and there, but a lot of my homeboys from back home, man, like they got high. And I feel like me, I take things to the extreme. You know what I'm saying? Once I started, it was all she wrote. And like I said, when we get to like now, you know, because you know, once you get into a program, Narcotics Anonymous, you start to do like step work and like answer about yourself. Because back then I didn't know my reason of why I chose to pick up drugs. You know, I also didn't know I was a drug addict. So if I knew now what I knew back then, I mean, I don't know if I would have, but I'm grateful that I went through what I went through because it made me who I am today.
Absolutely. I love that. You just said a lot. Right there in what you just said. Like, you said, I didn't know I was an addict. Because a lot of times when we in the midst of something, it's a couple of things: denial, or not just wanting to associate ourselves with something that has such a strong, you know what I mean, look to it, you know. But you said, I didn't realize I was an addict, you know. So let me ask you a question. If you don't mind sharing, what was your gateway drug? What was that first drug that led? Because you said, listen, I take things to the extreme, right? And I've heard a lot of people saying that from working in this field, you know, with other individuals. I've heard that, you know. So what was that first drug that took you into that place of, my God?
Yeah. All right. So the first drug I ever did, right? Marijuana, smoking weed, drinking. But I would do, Xanax or perks here and there. But the first time I did opiates, like I sniffed a bag of dope, it gave me a whole different feeling. And I feel like from the first time I touched that drug is when I said to myself, like, this can get dangerous very quick. But in my mind, right, I'm telling myself that like I'm not like these addicts that walk around here and can't work and don't have no money and don't care about how they dress. I was telling myself like that's not me. So if I want to do this, I'll be able to do this and live a normal life. It didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you exactly what we think so much alike, but on to the next question. So were you able to keep it from your family, or when did they find out?
So for a while, I hid it from my family, but like my mom is, I'm a mama's boy. That's my dog, that's my rider, that's my my best friend. And I would come in the house some nights and she would see me and she would ask me like, what's wrong with you? I'm just tired. And but my drug use progressed from sniffing dope to like using needles. I shared about this on my anniversary. One specific time, man, I had left some needles in my closet. And my mom, she knew something was going on with me. She knows me. I walk in the house, eyes bloodshot, or my pupils all pinned. She knows something's going on. And she looked through my closet and she found a pack of needles. And she said to me, "We got to figure something out." Because my mom, she's like, "I'm not going to let you die in these streets from using drugs." And it got to a point though that like even when my mom knew and my dad knew and my sister knew, like it didn't matter because now I'm all in. You know what I'm saying? No matter who knows, no matter what people think, I don't care about keeping a job. I don't care what my family thinks. Like I'm in the midst of active addiction. Like I'm all in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter to me. Family events, going to birthday parties, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I'm going in there high at the table, nodding out, falling asleep, and just not caring.
So let's talk about that right there, cousin. I want to, because I feel like a lot of times, and after having conversations with different parents of individuals who are active in addiction or struggling with addiction, sometimes if you have never walked that pathway, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what to think. You know what I mean? All you know is that you see your loved one in a situation that's not good, right? Yeah. And so I heard him say, listen, at that point in my life, all I cared about was my addiction, right? And it's because that disease takes over, right? And so that person that they actually seen come into the dinner table and things like that, it was taken over by a different force.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. And that thing, I heard what you say. You was like, in the beginning, when I took on the heavy stuff, the opiates or whatever, I knew that it could become dangerous. I heard about it, you know what I'm saying? But in my mind, because right at that point, it hadn't taken over your mind. In your mind, I got control over this.
Yeah.
Right? That's what a lot of people actually believe, that they got control over it. You know what I mean? Not realizing that thing right there, man, that's a demon all by itself.
All by itself.
Yeah, that thing, it's coming to take over everything. And before you know it, the individual is out of control with it, right? And so here you are, you're showing up. You still showing up, but you showing up with something riding your back.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to ask too, were you working? Were you still functioning like with a job, or was you just like getting your money in the street or whatever?
I was working. I would have a job here and there, Okay. I used to work with my uncle cleaning like Wawa floors, and then I worked at Bellevue State Park. Worked there for about 4 months, got fired. Worked at Stanley's, a restaurant. Worked there for about 7 months, got fired. I would have a job, but I could never keep a job because if I woke up one day and I didn't have no drugs, there was no way I was going to work. And if I did go to work, I would try to find a way to either leave work and go use, leave work and go find some money, steal some money and go use. It was just, I couldn't keep a job if I didn't have drugs. I couldn't do nothing in life. But like she was saying, it was really a demon that took over my body. Like if I wake up today and I don't get no drugs in my body, I will not be a productive person.
It had you like that. And so what's your age range during this time?
I would say when I was deep in my addiction, 19 to 25.
Wow. Wow. 19 to 25. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And so during that time, did you ever seek out, like, try to get any help that, I know your mom was on you and your family, but did you ever go into a facility at that time? Did you ever try, how, because sometimes somebody would try something for 30 days and that didn't happen. So did you try anything?
I went to a treatment in Pennsylvania in 2014. I went 2 different times. The first time I went, I completed. I stayed there for 18 days. But at this point, I really was just going because I was trying to make my mom happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I knew in my mind that like I was on like a little vacation. The day I left that rehab, I used.
Mhm.
And my mom is one of them type of ladies where like, okay, I'm a grown man. She telling me when I can and can't leave the house. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not. When it comes to getting what I want, I'm going to do what I want. And she would try to keep tabs on me and try to get me jobs to work with people she was close to. But at the end of the day, the only way I was going to stop using is when I was ready. So I went to that treatment for 18 days, completed and used. I went back to that same treatment in 2015, and I was there for 3 days, and I left. And I got high as soon as I got in the car with the person that picked me up.
Before we get deep into the interview, I need to shout out your mother.
Yes, Mom.
Right? I've never met your mom in person, never had a conversation with your mom, but I need to shout her out, right? And is your mom Miss Wanda?
Yes.
The reason why I want to say that is because like I told you prior, I was reading the comments on our Facebook page, and I can tell that your mom loves you.
100%.
I can tell that your mom is one of your biggest cheerleaders. And from a mom to a mom, I get it.
Yeah.
Right? All she wanted to do was protect her seed.
That's it.
Right? And she was riding with you. I want to tell you something. Consider yourself blessed, because I've seen a lot of individuals whose support system fell off because they couldn't handle the fact that their child was in active addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And so for your mom to continue to ride that thing out with you to the point to where you are now, listen, Miss Wanda, shout out to you. Shout out to you. And so I just wanted to stop and say that and give her flowers. Wow. She's here.
I'll add to that, because working with Andre, I know he loves his mom. He loves his mom. He's very family oriented.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to highlight that we know Mom did her part, we know this was not her fault or her doing. This was choices that you made,
Absolutely.
When you strong-willed and you have this mindset, I'm going to do what I want to do. That's, what I'm saying? Because even us, I guess we could call ourselves mama bears, because our kids are grown. My youngest is 16, but I'm still like that. Andre, me and Tonette, our boys they're knocking on 30, but we still like, where you, you know what I mean? Where you at? Because it's a different world, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I commend your mom for that. I'm not losing my son, because that's our mindsets with our boys, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a lot with that.
Yes.
A lot with that.
But I like what he said, cousin, not to cut you off.
No,
he said, first of all, he respected his mom enough to try to go, for the simple fact because he knew that would please her.
Yeah.
But to all of our viewers and individuals who are active in addiction right now, because cousin, we here to throw a line of hope.
Oh yeah.
Right, Andre, that you are part of the line of hope for individuals who still are part of your then. See, you've crossed over, but it's still some individuals that's still fighting in that place that we're talking about where you used to be. And so what you are doing now is you are physical hope for people to show that I've been there, done that, understand it all, right? But I also know that there is a way out, right? And so, cousin, I like when he said, I went there, because I knew it would make my mom happy, but I didn't go there because I wanted to go.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So we know that makes a difference in the treatment. That makes a difference in the recovery process. If that's not from your heart, right? If that's not something that you want to do personally, listen here, it doesn't give you that result that you're looking for.
Not at all. Not at all. So we want to move forward. We want you to get us to your lowest, like that. I couldn't believe I got here. What was your lowest?
I would say I went to Warwick in 2015. So in 2015 was when I'm talking about walking around. I haven't had a haircut for like 7 or 8 months. Track marks all on my arms, on my leg. I'm probably weighing in at like 105 pounds. And at a point in my life where like I didn't want to work, I'm 24, ready to turn 25. And like I'm calling my mom at nighttime, asking her, can she stop at McDonald's and get me a double cheeseburger from McDonald's? Like I'm a grown man with no money in my pocket, not eating, not caring what I look like. If I wanted to go get a haircut, I have to call my dad and try to get some money. I was hopeless. Like I'm talking about down bad, man. And at that time and point, like I didn't really have no hope. Like if I'm being honest, it was times when like I would stick a needle in my arm and like I would hope, maybe maybe this will be it, because I'm tired of suffering and I don't know how to get clean. I went to treatment, that didn't work, and I was okay at 24 years old. That like, man, I'll probably die before I'm 25 as a drug addict, and I'm all right with that. But in all reality, I really wasn't okay with that. I was just so far gone in active addiction that I just didn't want to live no more.
Jesus. Jesus.
The battle became that severe.
Yeah.
And I believe what you are saying, you gotta excuse me, because man, this topic makes me emotional, because I want to see people win. I want to see people free, and I want to see people healed. And I believe what you just said is what a lot of people feel on the inside.
Yeah.
You're speaking, you are able to verbalize now what so many people really want to say.
Yes.
Right? But you said, I'm saying this, but this is not, there's another part of me saying that I do want to live, but I can't kick this thing.
Yeah.
This thing is too heavy. This thing has overtaken me. This thing has taken me to my lowest point of just not caring.
Yeah.
Right? And so here we are. That is a very low point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cousin called me before the show started. And she said to me, I'm going to wear a shirt that speaks something inspirational, because when I think of this young man, that's what I think about. And I said to her, there's a call on his life.
Yes.
And we're talking about right now where you were at your lowest point. We come to encourage somebody on the day.
That's good.
You said I was at my lowest point where you say I'm done. Right? Cousin's shirt says, long story short.
God saved my life.
God saved my life.
Yeah.
I have many inspirational shirts. But when I was thinking about what shirt I was going to wear on the show, when I was thinking about the show all day long, if I could show you the dialogue between me and my cousin texting about this show, all I could think about was this word right here for your life.
Purpose. Yes.
Purpose.
Yes.
Your life is purposed.
Yes.
That's what your mind was saying, but God had another plan for your life. And so here we are at this point right here, and you're saying, I don't want to. What was the turning point? Where did this shift come in at?
I was sitting in my kitchen with my mom and my sister on Easter 2015. And we had Easter dinner, just me, my mom, my sister, and my nephew. And I remember, man, my sister sitting at the table, like she's also one. You know, my mom, my whole family supports me very. But this particular moment, it was me, my mom, and my sister sitting in my mom's kitchen, and I just remember like my sister just crying and asking me like, "Why can't you stop?" She's like, "I don't understand. Why do you have to live like this? Like, why can't you do something different? You've been to treatment, it hasn't worked. We try to come up with these ideas, like nothing's working. Like, I don't want to lose you. I don't want you to die in the streets, but like, why can't you stop?" And at that point, I didn't think she really understood how deep this active addiction was for me. But I just remember seeing my mom and my sister's face, man, in 2015, and I said to myself, I gotta give myself a chance. I had this therapist that I talked to, you know, and I'm always been the type of guy, man. Like, I'm always honest. I'm always open about what I'm going through and what's going on. And she found that treatment facility, Warwick Manor. I can honestly say, even when I went there, right, when I left there, I didn't stay clean right away, but I didn't go back home. You know, I went to that treatment facility. It was about a couple of days before I was ready to leave. And I just told my counselor, man, if I go back home where I'm comfortable, I'm going to put myself with people. I'm going to put myself in the same neighborhood. I know where to go. I can walk there. I don't need a phone. I'm not going to stay clean, and I'm going to end up dying. And I went to that treatment facility in 2015, and I stayed down here. But the disease of addiction is so crazy, right? Because like I still found a way the day I got out of Warwick to go back to Delaware one time, use, and then come back to Maryland to a recovery house. Because I still didn't know if I was ready to stop. Like I would go back and forth, man, so much. I don't want to use, but when that thing is on my shoulder talking to me, sometimes it's hard to shake it off. And 2015 was an up and down year for me. You know, I went to Warwick, I went back home, I went to a recovery house, I got a couple months clean. I think I had like 90 days clean. I got kicked out of the recovery house. I went to another recovery house. I kept using. I went back home, continued to use, then came back down here in October of 2015 because I said to myself, the only place I've ever got any type of clean time was on the Eastern Shore. And I felt like when I went back home after being down here, it wasn't even about like being in a dark place. It was just about the years that I've spent in Claymont, Delaware doing that, and the 90 days that I spent up here clean. And I said to myself, I'm tired of living this way, man. Like, I'm just tired, you know, and now I'm going to go down there and give it 100% shot. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give my all. I'm going to take some suggestions. I'm going to get a sponsor. I'm going to do step work. I'm going to find some people who really, you know, got some clean time and are really trying to live a new way of life and be productive members of society. And that's what I did. And, you know, my story, relapse is a part of my story, right? Like I had years clean from October 2015 to October 2017, and then I relapsed after having 2 years clean. And even just sitting here thinking about that, man, like I know what I did wrong. I know what happened, because it wasn't like I wasn't happy, you know?
Yeah.
Those 2 years was the best 2 years of my life. But for me, when I started dealing with somebody back home, and I like kind of like disconnected myself from the program of Narcotics Anonymous, from my the people in my recovery house, my sponsor, my sponsees, and I started hanging back around with the same dudes I hung with when I was in active addiction. But I thought I was okay because I had 2 years clean.
And let me tell you something. Listening to you makes me think about how powerful the mind is, right? But then you still had the drugs that's affecting the mindset all the more. You know, they always say a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but the mind is very powerful. That mind have us doing all kind of stuff. But I commend you sharing that part, because a lot of times you know, we can miss detail, and you just shared some detail right there. And like cousin said, we just appreciate your transparency so much. And we definitely believe that you're helping some people. I want to share something with you that I realized about the word recovery, because we hear it, but a lot of times people just think what people have their own, you know, definition of what recovery is. But this is what I found out about recovery. It's about the get back. That's in Latin, that's what it is. It's get back. It's getting back and getting back what we lost. Now, my struggles weren't your struggles. I don't have your story, but I definitely had some things that I had to recover from. So I had to get myself back together, my mind, you know, healing, all that stuff. Everybody has a different journey, and this one just happened to be yours. But I think about how, you know, you persevered, you know, even when you didn't know what that was going to look like, you know, and you could have just quit and gave in. But, and as cousin said earlier, God had a plan. Even when you thought that needle, one of them last needles was going to be it, God said, not so. See, when he has a plan, it doesn't even matter what the enemy does. It won't work. It'll form. It might even manifest, but it doesn't mean it's when God has when you're sealed, like when you're chosen for such a time as this, the enemy he can only do so much. But just the fact that you kept persevering, and guess what? God knew all along that heart. He knew your mind was doing its own thing, but he knew deep down you really didn't want to die. Like you thought you did, but inside you really didn't want to go out like that. Nah, you didn't want to go out like that. And so I'm just so grateful to God that I was able to, you know, work alongside you. So we're gonna move into, you know.
Hold on 1 second, cousin. I just want to share one. I listened because words mattered.
Yes.
I listened to him say, I went to rehab because of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to a low place. And then I heard my mom and my sister. I heard. Then I heard him say he got to talk with himself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. For all those that are watching and viewing and want out, you got to have a conversation with yourself and mean it. I heard him say, I want out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started to seek out places of his. See, once you have that mindset, once he was ready to shift, didn't say the opposition wasn't going to come,
right?
But he was ready to shift. And then I heard him say he went, and then he realized he couldn't go back.
To the same.
He was able to identify some triggers,
yes.
some red flags. I can't go back home. If that place is not safe for me. It's true that you really do have to change people.
You do, places and things. Yeah.
It's necessary for survival.
Very.
Right? He wasn't strong enough to go back to those places yet. And now he's starting to admit some things to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's realizing he's now talking to the man who he sees in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right? And now we're starting to see results.
Yes.
Did he fall? Yeah, he fell.
Mm-hmm.
But he was able to say, okay, wait, I see why that happened. No longer making excuses.
That's right.
All right.
But so he was trying to find solutions then. That's basically, it was
the
like
mindset has shifted.
That's right.
You got to shift the mindset. It's important to shift the mindset. Right? Until you shift your mindset, it don't matter what nobody say.
That's it.
And also another thing is the shifting of the mindset allowed room for God to move.
Yeah.
See, I believe there's a lot of people that addiction, and Andre, you can, you know, comment on it. There's a lot of people that addiction has took out of here.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
A lot of individuals have died, unfortunately, from overdose. It's happened. It's true. I believe God had a plan for all of their lives.
That's right.
Come on now. There's a plan for everybody's life. But listen, he can't work where we don't give him room to work. When you shifted your mindset, because what you don't understand is, listen here, there was a word that was spoken over your life.
Yes.
And I'm assuming from reading a message, right? Your mom commented and said, I'm so proud of you, son. And then there was a pastor who commented last night. I'm reading these text messages, and I'm telling you right now, Andre, my spirit was jumping. Yes. There was a pastor who then commented and said that she was proud of you. I don't know this pastor. She said that she was proud of you And she said that the Lord is going to do great things in your life. And she told your mother that she was proud of you and she hasn't seen nothing yet. Your mom came back and spoke the words that you spoke over his life.
Yes.
I need you to hear what I'm saying. This is why I know you have purpose. This is why I know God saved your life. There was some words that were spoken over your life. Your mother said the words that were spoken over your life helped her during the most difficult times of your life. There was a word, right? And so what happened is when your mind shifted, now you have given God room to work.
Yes.
And every word that has been prophesied over your life, as long as you give God room to work, I want you to hear what I'm saying, young man, because I believe the world ain't seen nothing yet. Everything that you went through, it was for your good. And that's what you're going to help somebody else. But everything that has been spoken over your life, as long as you give God room to work,
he can work.
You ain't seen nothing yet. You have not seen nothing. I want you to hear what I'm saying. You have not seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of great works for you.
Yeah. And everybody does have a yet, but the yet is based on your yes to God. Your yes, because he doesn't force anything.
Right.
You know, and as cousin said, your ministry may not be behind no pulpit, but you definitely got a street ministry and on the court. That's because you sharing your testimonies, helping other people. You know what I mean? You saving folk when you open your mouth. That's why you can't be quiet.
Right.
You can't be quiet. So when I called you, when we were talking about our shows and our topics, so we're strategic. We don't believe in just doing anything just to be doing it. That's not where we're at. Everything that we do has to be purposeful. So when we were talking about one of the topics was recovery, and we were like, who do we, you know, and God instantly put you on my mind. And so cousin asked me like how many years you have been clean. And I told her, and she was like, are you sure? I said, all I gotta do is ask. I'm gonna ask. And so when you responded back and you called me, you was like, with no hesitation, yes, I'm ready. I'm gonna do this. And let me tell you something, because you did this, this is another leap. You're overcoming all the more. Every time you share it, you are overcoming. And I love when you were talking about the steps in the step program. So that's what every day is. It's one step at a time. It's not about getting to the end right away. It's step by step. And you definitely have a calling, and you definitely matter. And I just think about your now, because working with you, and I didn't grow up around you, only knew what you shared with me, but working with you, I seen, you know, how you were so family oriented. You would bring your nephew on the trips and stuff like that. And, you know, just being hands-on with the kids, very manneral, you know, you have your mannerism. Like, so I know mom put in that work. You know, you were a gentleman. And I wanted to publicly say that you were a gentleman. We worked in close proximity. You were a gentleman the whole time. And the only thing I would want you to change, you can drop the miss and call me sis, okay? Because she's like, oh, don't make me feel so. just call me sis, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
But
I got you.
I've been able to experience your now with you, working with those, you trying to save them, telling them your story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm just so elated that this is just a step. You know, you're going to have more opportunities to share. You're going to have more opportunities to be a light and a witness. And we definitely want to bring you on board for some things that we desire to do. So, cousin, I'll let you go, because I'm feeling like
listen, so I want to talk about his now. So we heard about that last time that you used, and you was able to identify why, and you realized you had went back into some old places. Take us from that point to now.
All right. I celebrated 2 years in October 2017. It was like the second week of October. Then I relapsed like November 1st or something like that. And my relapse was from November to December 6th. My last day using is December 6th. And I'll never forget it because, you know, I was going back and forth down 301, going to Delaware. And I was driving back. You know, it's like an hour, 45-minute drive. I'm driving back, no music. I had used, and I just was driving on the highway doing about 45 miles an hour, man, no music. with tears coming down my eyes, asking myself, how did I get here? I know how I got here because I know how I got the 2 years clean that I got, and I stopped doing what I was doing when I was in recovery. So I know how I got here. And I picked up the phone, I called my sponsor, and I'm like, man, listen, I'm driving back to Maryland. I need to move back in the recovery house. I give you my phone, I give you my car keys, I give you my wallet, I give you everything I got. And I mean, I don't want to do this no more. Like I'm ready to get back to being happy, you know, and loving myself again. And that's what I did. December 7th, I moved into recovery house. That was in 2017. I've been clean ever since. And I came back with the same intentions, man, of like going to meetings, going to IOP, getting a sponsor, doing step work, reading literature, reaching out. You know, I already had a network because I had some clean time before, and just taking it one day at a time, you know. And over the years, over the last 5 years, man, as y'all know, you know, I had a son who, man, on my worst days, clean, man, like, you know, because life is not always easy. You know what I'm saying? Just because I got clean does not mean that every day is going to be great. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to think about using. You know, I used to ask myself, like, man, with the clean time that I got, like, if I share about I want to get high, like, are people going to judge me? But at the end of the day, like, I'm a drug addict. I'm just in recovery. Yeah. I got 5 years clean, so the thoughts still won't come, but thoughts aren't facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can think about using, I just don't got to act on it. And if I go into a meeting and I share about it, usually the thought goes away. And as long as I don't obsess about the thought, you know, think about it for a couple minutes. All right, come on, man. Like, we're not going back to that, you know, and keep it moving. But even on my worst days, man, like that little boy that's in the living room with my girlfriend right now, you talking about motivation. Of course, like, I did this for myself, right? Like, when I came in here this last time, I'm like, I'm not doing it for my mom. I'm not doing it for my friends. I'm not doing it for nobody but me. You know, I want to be clean. But today, like, it's not just about me. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I got to show up as a father, you know, as a friend, as a brother, as an employer, but most importantly, like, for him. Because y'all know, man, a lot of kids grow up without fathers.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm not going to let happen is Baby Dre grow up without his dad, or Baby Dre see his dad in active addiction, because he don't know that guy that was in active addiction, sticking needles and smoking crack. He's never seen that guy. And he don't have to.
No, he doesn't.
That's good stuff.
Doesn't have to.
And I honestly believe, man, that like where I'm at today in my life, like, as long as I continue to do the things I need to do, he's never going to see that person.
Wow. I love that. I love that. And I got to see him before we got on. He was like, who's that? He's so cute. He is so cute. So let's share a little bit more about your support system, because we one of the things we were talking about earlier is a beautiful thing to have it. Everybody doesn't have it. And, you know, we wind it down, you know, to the end of the show, this interview, but to have that, as Cousin was saying, everybody doesn't have that. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel?
Makes me just feel loved, you know, and it also reminds me that, like, the things that my mind was telling me when I was in active addiction wasn't true. You know, that was just me being caught up in the grips, because I could easily say, like, oh, my family don't care about me. My family doesn't love me, so I'm gonna go get high. Like, nah, that wasn't the case, because as you can see, like, my family shows up. I got NA family that's not intermediate family, but I mean, they show up on a daily basis. When I celebrated 5 years clean, man, my family it was like 30 of them that came down here to drive 2 hours to Cambridge, Maryland, to sit in the church and listen to me share my story.
Wow.
And I truly believe that if it wasn't for my Narcotics Anonymous network, man, like, the guys in my network who I can get vulnerable with, it's been multiple dudes that I'm talking about, I've like real tears cried on their shoulders, or vice versa. And, you know, as men growing up or coming in Narcotics Anonymous, we got this mask on that, like, oh, we can't get vulnerable with another dude. We can't cry to, you know, they'll think we're soft, but like all that, for me, that was just a mask, man. Today, like, all my homeboys in Narcotics Anonymous to tell you that I go in the meeting, I share with them, I share in the meeting, I cry on their shoulders, I cry in the meeting, because like at the end of the day, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get another day clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day at a time, man. That's all we're required to do.
That's it.
When we try to live more than one day at a time, that's too much.
Yeah.
That's all. It's too weighty. It's too heavy. Even for those who are not struggling with addiction, all we are required to do is live one day at a time.
That's it. One day at a time. And so just know, we encourage all of our listeners, just know if you have that support system, reach out to them. You know what I mean? You don't have to be islands.
Yeah.
I said, pick the phone up, call somebody.
Exactly. You know, a lot of times people suffer in silence by choice, or pride gets in the way. And I'm glad that you even shared about, men can cry, because when you don't shed tears, that keeps you prideful. But God is closest to those that are of a contrite spirit, a broken heart. That's what God, because that's saying, okay, I can get in. It's like breaking up that fallow ground of the heart. God can really get in. And that's all he wants. That's what he wants for all of us, just to be able to come in and love on us and show us that we have purpose. He has need of us. And so we're so, again, elated that you shared this time with us, and all those that, are on here. Anything you want to say that we didn't add, anything you want to share to any of those that are listening right now, or may come back and see this later? Anything you want to say, you have that liberty to do so.
Just want to let everybody know it's possible, man. I say that because when I was in my active addiction, I didn't think I could get a day clean. And like today, I sit here with 5 years. So if I can do it, anybody can. You just gotta open up. You gotta get vulnerable. You gotta call somebody. You gotta ask for help. Because the longer you stay quiet, the worse it's gonna get. And I'm saying that with experience, because there were so many times, man, where I wanted to reach out for help, or I wanted to cry out for help, but I didn't want to be judged, or I didn't want to be called a dope fiend or a crackhead or a junkie. But at the end of the day, like, my pride was getting in the way. Because if I would have reached out earlier, thankfully, I'm glad I went through what I went through. But because like you said, there's a lot of people out here dying who didn't reach out. I don't know, I'm ready to bring my son in here real quick.
Okay. I want you to bring your son in. And I want to share this with you before you go get your son. I heard you say, I'm just a drug addict in recovery. Right? That's not who you are.
Yeah.
I want you to hear what I'm saying. That's not who you are. That's who you used to be.
Right.
From this day forward, every word that you speak out of your mouth over you, speak something different.
Yes.
Right.
You are a man of God with purpose.
Right.
With a story to tell, who shall live and not die.
Right.
And declare the works of the Lord. Now, no, speak something that's who you used to be.
Right.
I got a lot of stuff I used to be too.
Yeah.
Right. But when I speak of myself now, I speak something different.
Right.
And so that's what I want you to do. I'm excited for your future. I'm happy for you.
Yes.
I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you.
Thank
you.
you.
I know this won't be the last time that I hear your name.
No.
But let us see who makes you proud. Let us see.
This is awesome. This was awesome.
Let us see. Look, we see the smile on his face already. Let us see.
Hey.
Absolutely handsome.
Hey, little Dre.
Hey.
Handsome young man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, we see the smile.
No, listen.
We see the smile that he actually puts on your face. Continue to be that great father. Continue to make memories with him. Right? Remember what you said. What he don't know, he don't have to know.
It's a fact.
You continue to make life great for you and him. Hi, little Andre. How are you doing? Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
It's here.
He be talking.
Here.
Hmm?
Why got that in here?
The light. They
Why you
need
got
the-
that in here?
That's
Don't
a
you love that
blessing.
curiosity? I
Yes,
love it.
that's a blessing. Go
So,
ahead, cousin.
I'm just gonna say, so again, Andre, we appreciate you. We want you to stay motivated, stay encouraged. Remember, it's a one day at a time. And when you said something to the viewers about reaching out, anybody that's struggling, because when we hungry, a closed mouth don't get fed. So when we hungry, we're gonna open up our mouth and say something. So if we want something different, we do need to open up our mouths and just ask for help. Let's get that pride out of the way. So
Right.
again, thank you. We appreciate you. We want you to enjoy this holiday time. Love on your family. Tell your mom we said hello, because next year, Lord willing, when we host our live recording, we want you in the place. We want you to bring
Absolutely.
your family. We're
Okay.
gonna have some things for you, so we will give you details. But reach out if you ever need us. We appreciate you so much.
Absolutely.
Until next time, y'all. It's Rare Talk. Hit us up at itsraretalk@gmail.com. Follow us, share. Y'all share this. This was so good. This was so good. Until next time.
I truly appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Listen here. Keep doing it, man.
I got you.
Keep doing it. Keep doing that. Proud of you. Until next time, it's Rare Talk, y'all, where everything is rare, authentic, real experiences. We are so grateful for the interview with Andre Childs. Until next time.
That's what it is, y'all. Be blessed.
All right.
Ready? Are y'all ready? Cause it's Rare Talk. It's Rare Talk. Tabby, Tassie. Hey, it's Rare Talk. Rare, authentic, real experiences. That's what it is.